7 signs someone in your life could be a psychopath. Psychopathy is a complex personality disorder, characterized by a lack of empathy, manipulative behavior, and antisocial tendencies. While true psychopaths represent only about 1% of the general population, understanding the warning signs can help protect you from potentially harmful relationships. This video explores 7 key behavioral patterns that mental health professionals use to identify psychopathic traits, helping you recognize red flags in personal and professional relationships. It's important to note that only qualified mental health professionals can diagnose personality disorders. But being aware of these signs can help you make informed decisions about the people you allow into your life. Have you ever encountered someone who seemed charming on the surface, but left you feeling uneasy? Someone who could lie without batting an eye, or manipulate situations to their advantage? Today, we're discussing 7 critical signs that someone in your life might display psychopathic traits. Before we begin, it's crucial to understand that psychopathy exists on a spectrum, and only licensed mental health professionals can make formal diagnoses. However, recognizing these patterns can help you protect yourself and make better decisions about your relationships. Stay until the end, because the 7th sign might surprise you. It's often the most overlooked red flag that could save you from years of manipulation and emotional damage. 1. Superficial charm and charisma. The first, and perhaps most deceptive sign, is superficial charm. Psychopaths are often incredibly charismatic and can make powerful first impressions. They're smooth talkers who know exactly what to say to win people over. This isn't genuine warmth or authentic connection. It's a calculated performance designed to gain trust and access. Think of that colleague who seems to effortlessly command every room they enter, or that new romantic interest who swept you off your feet with grand gestures and perfect words. While charm itself isn't problematic, psychopathic charm has a hollow quality. It feels rehearsed, almost too good to be true. These individuals often become the center of attention at social gatherings, telling captivating stories and making others feel special. However, if you pay close attention, you'll notice their charm is turned on and off like a switch. They can be incredibly engaging with someone they want something from, then completely cold to someone they consider useless to their agenda. The key difference between genuine charm and psychopathic charm is authenticity. Real charm comes from genuine interest in others and authentic emotion. Psychopathic charm is a tool, a means to an end, not a reflection of who they truly are. 2. Pathological lying and deception. Psychopaths lie compulsively, even when the truth would serve them better. This isn't occasional white lies or social pleasantries. This is systematic, pathological dishonesty that permeates every aspect of their communication. They lie about big things and small things with equal ease. They might fabricate entire life stories, exaggerate achievements, or create false emergencies to manipulate others. What's particularly disturbing is how convincingly they lie. They maintain eye contact, show no signs of nervousness, and can elaborate on their lies with impressive detail. These lies often serve multiple purposes: to impress others, to avoid consequences, to manipulate situations to their advantage, or sometimes seemingly for no reason at all. They might tell different versions of the same story to different people, keeping track of their lies like a complex web. When confronted with evidence of their dishonesty, they don't show typical signs of guilt or shame. Instead, they often double down, blame others, or seamlessly shift to a new lie. They might even make you question your own memory or perception of events, a manipulation tactic known as gaslighting. Pay attention to inconsistencies in their stories, especially when they're trying to impress you or avoid accountability. Trust your instincts if something doesn't add up. 3. Complete lack of empathy. Perhaps the most defining characteristic of psychopathy is a profound lack of empathy. These individuals cannot genuinely understand or share the feelings of others. While they might intellectually understand that their actions hurt people, they don't feel the emotional impact of that harm. This manifests in various ways. They might remain completely unmoved by others' pain, distress, or joy. They can discuss traumatic events, whether their own or others, with the same emotional tone they'd use to describe the weather. They don't offer comfort when others are upset, and they seem genuinely puzzled by emotional responses they consider excessive. However, many psychopaths are skilled at mimicking empathy when it serves their purposes. They've learned the appropriate responses and can perform caring behavior convincingly. But this performance lacks the spontaneous, genuine quality of real empathy. It's calculated, and often slightly off-mark. Watch for how they respond to others' suffering or joy when they think no one important is watching. Do they show genuine concern for friends going through difficult times? Do they celebrate others' successes? Or do they seem resentful or dismissive? Their true nature often emerges in these unguarded moments. This lack of empathy also means they struggle to form deep, meaningful relationships. Their connections with others are typically shallow and based on what others can provide for them. 4. Grandiose sense of self-worth. Psychopaths typically have an inflated sense of their own importance and abilities. They genuinely believe they're superior to others and deserve special treatment. This isn't confidence, it's narcissistic grandiosity, completely disconnected from reality. They often exaggerate their achievements, talents, and importance. They might claim credit for others' work, embellish their role in successful projects, or fabricate impressive credentials. They expect others to recognize their supposed superiority, and become angry or dismissive when that recognition doesn't come. This grandiosity manifests in their expectations of relationships and interactions. They believe rules don't apply to them, that they deserve preferential treatment, and that others should cater to their needs and desires. They might interrupt conversations to make everything about themselves, dominate discussions, or become visibly irritated when they're not the center of attention. In professional settings, they might take credit for team successes while blaming others for failures. In personal relationships, they expect partners to revolve around their needs and schedules. They have difficulty accepting criticism and often respond to feedback with anger or dismissal, rather than reflection. This grandiosity also makes them prone to taking excessive risks because they believe they're too smart or special to face consequences. They might engage in reckless behavior, make impulsive decisions, or pursue unrealistic goals because they're convinced of their own invincibility. 5. Manipulative and exploitative behavior. Psychopaths view relationships as opportunities for personal gain. They're skilled manipulators who can identify others' vulnerabilities and exploit them for their own benefit. This manipulation is often subtle and sophisticated, making it difficult to recognize until significant damage has been done. They're masters at reading people and adapting their approach accordingly. With insecure individuals, they might offer false reassurance and validation. With generous people, they might create sob stories to elicit help. With ambitious individuals, they might promise opportunities or connections they can't deliver. Common manipulation tactics include love bombing in the early stages of relationships, where they shower targets with excessive attention and affection to create emotional dependency. They might use guilt, fear, or shame to control behavior. They often play people against each other, sharing information strategically to create conflict and maintain control. They are particularly skilled at identifying and targeting empathetic, trusting individuals who are likely to give them the benefit of the doubt. They exploit others' good nature, compassion, and desire to help. Financial exploitation is common. They might borrow money with no intention of repaying, use others' resources without permission, or manipulate their way into accessing bank accounts or credit cards. Emotional exploitation is equally damaging, as they use others' feelings and vulnerabilities as weapons. The key is recognizing when giving in a relationship feels completely one-sided, when you're constantly making excuses for someone's behavior, or when you feel emotionally drained after interactions with them. 6. Impulsivity and poor behavioral control. Psychopaths often struggle with impulse control and long-term planning. Despite their ability to manipulate and scheme, they frequently make rash decisions that undermine their own goals. This impulsivity can manifest in various areas of their lives. They might have unstable work histories, jumping from job to job without clear progression. They could struggle with financial responsibility, making impulsive purchases or risky investments. In relationships, they might make sudden, dramatic decisions like moving in together quickly or ending relationships abruptly. This poor behavioral control often extends to anger management. While they might seem calm and collected most of the time, they can explode into rage over minor inconveniences or perceived slights. These outbursts are often disproportionate to the triggering event and can be frightening for those around them. They might engage in risky behaviors like reckless driving, substance abuse, or dangerous sexual encounters. They often have difficulty learning from consequences because they don't properly process the connection between their actions and negative outcomes. This impulsivity can make them unreliable partners, friends, or colleagues. They might cancel plans last minute, fail to follow through on commitments, or make decisions that affect others without consultation. Their inability to delay gratification means they often prioritize immediate desires over long-term relationships or goals. 7. Shallow emotions and lack of remorse. The final, and perhaps most chilling sign, is their shallow emotional life and complete lack of genuine remorse. While psychopaths can simulate emotions when it serves their purposes, their actual emotional experiences are limited and superficial. They don't feel guilt, shame, or remorse in the way most people do. When they hurt others, whether intentionally or through negligence, they don't experience the emotional discomfort that typically motivates people to make amends or change their behavior. They might offer apologies, but these are strategic rather than heartfelt. Their emotions tend to be short-lived and shallow. They might seem angry or excited, but these feelings don't have the depth or lasting quality of typical human emotions. They can shift from one emotional state to another quickly and without apparent cause. This emotional shallowness means they don't form deep attachments to others. They might claim to love someone, but their version of love is possessive and self-serving, rather than caring and nurturing. They don't miss people when they're gone, and they don't experience genuine grief when relationships end. When confronted about harmful behavior, they typically respond with excuses, blame shifting, or minimization, rather than taking responsibility. They might say they're sorry, but they don't change their behavior because they don't actually feel the remorse that would motivate change. This lack of emotional depth also means they don't understand why others get so emotional about things they consider trivial, leading to further disconnection and misunderstanding in relationships. Remember, having one or two of these traits doesn't make someone a psychopath. True psychopathy involves a persistent pattern of multiple traits that significantly impact relationships, and if you recognize several of these signs in someone close to you, trust your instincts and consider seeking support from mental health professionals or trusted friends and family. Protecting yourself isn't about diagnosing others. It's about recognizing unhealthy patterns and making informed decisions about your relationships. Set clear boundaries, trust your gut feelings, and don't ignore red flags in the hope that someone will change. If this video helped you identify concerning patterns in your relationships, please share it with others who might benefit. Subscribe for more content about psychology and relationships, and let me know in the comments which sign surprised you the most. Remember, your emotional and psychological safety matters, and you deserve relationships built on mutual respect, honesty, and genuine care. Thanks for watching, and remember, knowledge is your best protection.